New whip and that, yeah?
Everyone that doubted us, fam, with me.
They're on us. They're on us.
In that video are 3 teenagers who managed to steal over $4 million in cryptocurrency in less than 20 minutes in June of 2024. And by the time it was over, the robbery would become one of the most unusual crypto crimes in recent British history. But this wasn't the kind of theft most people picture when they hear the word cryptocurrency. Nobody hacked a computer or cracked a password from thousands of miles away. There were no sophisticated cyber attacks, secret malware programs, or genius programmers sitting behind glowing monitors. Instead, the people behind this robbery used a much older method, one that existed long before Bitcoin, long before the internet, and long before cryptocurrency was ever invented. For a brief moment, it seemed as though everything had gone exactly as intended. Millions of dollars had changed hands. The suspects were on the road, and the hardest part of the entire operation appeared to be behind them. But then they made a mistake. A mistake so reckless and unnecessary that it would completely change the course of the story. The events that followed would involve stolen cryptocurrency, a luxury SUV, motorway police, a high-speed chase stretching across England, and a manhunt that would unravel at remarkable speed. This is the story of the Amazon driver heist. See, for years, cryptocurrency was sold as the future of money. A system where people could control their own wealth without relying on banks, governments, or financial institutions. But that freedom came with a new problem. If you become your own bank, then suddenly you become your own security guard as well. And unlike a bank vault protected by cameras, alarms, and armed response teams, sometimes the only thing standing between a criminal and a fortune is a single person. On a summer day in London, 3 teenagers would allegedly discover just how vulnerable that system could be. The target was a cryptocurrency investor living in Hoxton, a neighborhood in East London. Unlike most people, he wasn't just holding a few hundred or a few $1,000s in crypto. He controlled millions of dollars worth of digital assets from his apartment. As cryptocurrency became more popular, criminals began to realize something. If a single person could control that much money, then they didn't necessarily need to attack the technology. They could simply go after the person holding it. There's a famous saying in the cryptocurrency world that goes, "Give me a $5 wrench and I'll get your Bitcoin password." The phrase has become a dark joke within the community, but it highlights a very real problem. Modern crypto wallets are designed to be extremely secure, and gaining access to them through technical means often requires a high level of skill and expertise. But threatening the person who owns the wallet is much easier. Over the last few years, criminals around the world have increasingly turned to what are known as wrench attacks.
And then stole about $11 million worth of crypto using the digital keys that were stored on the victim's laptop and phone. And inside the industry, these are known as wrench attacks, where criminals have realized that it's often easier to show up with a weapon than hack a wallet online. Facial recognition, that makes it even simpler. You tie a victim up, point the phone at their face, and then drain their account.
Instead of attacking the technology, they attack the owner. Victims have been kidnapped, assaulted, and held against their will until they transfer cryptocurrency from their wallets. This is the environment that existed in 2024, and that is exactly what happened in Hoxton. The people behind the robbery were 3 teenagers from Sheffield, Faris Hassan, Makul Bethune, and a third accomplice who was 17 years old at the time of the offense. By the time they appeared in court, prosecutors would describe a crime that looked far too coordinated to have been a spur-of-the-moment decision. June 17, 2024. After traveling more than 150 miles from Sheffield to London, the teenagers arrived at an apartment building in Hoxton with a plan that depended on one thing: getting the victim to open the door. One of the teenagers approached the property, carrying what appeared to be an Amazon parcel. Police footage shows a hooded accomplice running through a rear gate moments before the robbery unfolded. To the victim, nothing looked unusual. Packages arrive every day, and delivery drivers knock on doors thousands of times across London. There was no reason to believe this delivery was any different. The disguise worked exactly as intended. The victim opened the door, and within seconds, the situation changed completely. The teenagers forced their way into the apartment and confronted the victim with knives. The Amazon parcel had done its job. The victim was threatened with knives and forced to move cryptocurrency worth approximately $4.5 million to wallets controlled by the group, and eventually the transfers were completed, but the group wasn't finished. Before leaving, they also took the victim's keys to a blue BMW X3 parked outside. As the teenagers walked back out of the building and climbed into the BMW, everything appeared to have gone according to plan. and for a brief moment, it looked like they had pulled off the perfect crime.
New weapon that, yeah?
Everyone that doubted us, fam, with me.
The group is now heading north with access to assets worth more than £3 million and a vehicle that doesn't belong to them. The hardest part of the plan is over. From their perspective, this is the victory lap. The target has been left behind in London, and the road back to Sheffield stretches ahead of them. In a heist movie, this is usually the moment when the crew disappears into the distance and the credits begin to roll. If they had simply focused on getting home, the investigation that followed might have looked very different, but the excitement starts to get the better of them. Instead of keeping a low profile, the teenagers begin celebrating inside the stolen BMW. They film videos, vape, and post clips to Snapchat. In one recording, a teenager proudly says, "New whippin' that? Yeah." In another, someone boasts, "Everyone that doubted us."
New weapon that, yeah?
Everyone that doubted us, fam, with me.
Fam. What they don't realize is that every second they spend documenting their success is creating evidence that investigators will later use against them. Unknown to the group, after the robbery, the victim quickly contacted police and reported his BMW X3 as stolen.
London Police, tell me what's happened.
They got everything. Everything. They emptied my crypto account. They stole my BMW.
Calm down, sir. We are on this. BMW, you said. Can you share the model, color, and the plates with me?
Yes. BMW. It's an X3. It's blue. BD5.
That single phone call transformed the vehicle from a getaway car into a tracking beacon. Every mile the group traveled now increased the chances of being found. The United Kingdom uses a network known as ANPR, or Automatic Number Plate Recognition. Thousands of cameras are positioned on roads, motorways, and major junctions across the country. As vehicles pass by, the cameras automatically read their license plates and compare them against police databases. If a vehicle has been reported stolen, the system generates an alert. The teenagers may have believed they were disappearing into traffic, but the BMW was effectively announcing its location every time it passed one of these cameras. As the group headed north, the stolen vehicle was detected on the M1 motorway near Northamptonshire. Suddenly, police had something they didn't have before: a live lead. They knew the suspects were on the move, they knew what vehicle they were driving, and they knew roughly where they were heading. From that moment on, the robbery stopped being an investigation and became a manhunt. Meanwhile, inside the BMW, the teenagers had stopped celebrating and now knew the police were already following their trail. One of the teenagers shouted, "They're on us!" as the reality of the situation became impossible to ignore. The net was beginning to close, and with every mile they drove, the chances of escape were getting smaller. Instead of pulling over, the BMW accelerated and a pursuit began. The vehicle raced along the motorway at speeds approaching 100 miles per hour as officers attempted to bring it to a stop. The chase eventually reached the M6. By this point, the police response was overwhelming. Officers had the vehicle, they had the route, and they had nowhere left for the suspects to go. The BMW was surrounded and brought to a stop in a tactical maneuver. Police vehicles boxed it in from multiple directions, cutting off any possibility of escape. And just like that, the entire operation came crashing down. After the criminals were captured, there was still one enormous problem: the cryptocurrency. Unlike a stolen car, cryptocurrency cannot simply be found parked on the side of a road. Once a transaction is completed on a blockchain, it cannot be reversed. The victim had already been forced to transfer the funds. The money was gone. Or at least that's what most people thought. One of the biggest misconceptions about cryptocurrency is that it is completely untraceable. In reality, most major blockchains are public ledgers. Every transaction is permanently recorded and visible to anyone willing to look. While wallet addresses may not immediately reveal a person's identity, the movement of funds can still be followed. This is where the investigation entered a very different world. Instead of examining fingerprints or searching for physical evidence, specialists began tracing digital transactions across the blockchain. Investigators from the Metropolitan Police's Economic Crime Command worked to identify where the stolen cryptocurrency had gone and whether the suspects had attempted to move or conceal it. For criminals, stealing cryptocurrency is only half the battle. The harder challenge is turning it into usable money, and unlike what many people believe, criminals don't simply press a button and make cryptocurrency disappear. According to police, the stolen assets were successfully traced and recovered within 72 hours of the robbery. Just 2 weeks later, the cryptocurrency was returned to the victim. For a crime involving millions of pounds in digital assets, that outcome is remarkably rare. In many crypto theft cases, victims never see their money again. This victim did. The case eventually made its way to Sheffield Crown Court, where the teenagers were held accountable for their roles in the robbery. Faris Hassan received the longest sentence. He was sentenced to 67 months in custody after pleading guilty to dangerous driving, aggravated burglary, transferring criminal property, theft of a motor vehicle, driving without insurance, and driving without a license. Prosecutors argued that he played a significant role in both the robbery and the attempted getaway that followed. Mikhail Bethune was sentenced to 46 months in custody after admitting aggravated burglary, theft of a motor vehicle, and possession of a knife. The third defendant, who was 17 years old at the time of the offense, was sentenced separately due to his age. In total, the three teenagers received combined sentences amounting to roughly 16 years of youth detention.